You know, there are moments in life that split your world in two. Moments where everything you thought you knew just shatters. For me, that moment came on a Tuesday afternoon when my neighbor, Linda, called me with a voice I'd never heard from her before. Shaking. Uncertain. "Margaret," she said, I need to tell you something. But I don't know how." I was in my kitchen making tea like I did every afternoon. The sun was coming through the window. Everything felt normal. "Just tell me, Linda. What's wrong?" "I was at the country club yesterday. There was a private event in one of the banquet rooms. Your son David was there." My heart did a little jump. David. My only child. We hadn't spoken in 3 weeks. Not since our argument about his new girlfriend and her expensive tastes. "And?" yes. Linda took a breath. "Margaret, he was showing people a death certificate." "Your death certificate?" "He was telling everyone you'd passed away 2 weeks ago." The teacup slipped from my hands. It shattered on the floor, but I barely heard it. Before I tell you what happened next, don't forget to subscribe if you love true stories like this, and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if this happened to you? My son, my own flesh and blood, was telling people I was dead. But I was very much alive. Let me take you back to when things were different. My name is Margaret Foster. I'm 72 years old. I live in a quiet suburb outside of Nashville, Tennessee. For 43 years I was married to Robert Foster, a good man, a hardworking man. We built a life together, a modest but comfortable life. Robert passed away 6 years ago. Cancer. It was peaceful in the end. He left me the house, his retirement accounts, and a small investment portfolio he'd carefully built over the decades. Nothing extravagant, but enough. Enough for me to live comfortably. Enough to leave something meaningful to our son. David. Oh, David. He was our miracle baby. We tried for years. And when he finally came, he was everything. Smart, charming, ambitious, maybe too ambitious. After Robert died, David and I grew closer. He'd visit every Sunday. We'd have lunch, talk about his work. He was doing well in commercial real estate, making good money, or so I thought. But about 2 years ago things started to change. He started asking questions about my finances, about the house, about Robert's investments. "Mom, are you sure you're managing everything okay?" he'd say. "Maybe I should help. Maybe I should be on your accounts. You know, just in case." Just in case. First I thought it was sweet, concerned. But something felt off. Then he met Vanessa. Vanessa Morgan. 28 years old. Bleached blonde hair. Designer everything. And a smile that never quite reached her eyes. David brought her to Sunday lunch about 18 months ago. "Mom, this is Vanessa. We've been seeing each other for a few months." I tried to be welcoming. I really did. But within 5 minutes, Vanessa was walking through my house like she was appraising it. "Oh, David, this living room would be perfect for entertaining once it's remodeled," she said, running her hand along my mother's antique sideboard. "Once it's remodeled." David just laughed. "Vanessa's an interior designer. She sees potential everywhere." After they left, I felt uneasy. But I pushed it aside. He's happy, I told myself. That's what matters. But the requests started coming faster after that. "Mom, Vanessa and I are looking at condos downtown. Could you help with the down payment? Just a loan. Mom, I'm having some cash flow issues with a deal. Could you transfer some money? I'll pay you back next month. Mom, we're getting married. But we want a destination wedding. Italy. Could you cover it? Family should be there." Every time I said no. Not because I didn't love my son, but because something felt wrong. The numbers didn't add up. He made good money. Why did he always need mine? And then came the big ask. 6 months ago, David came to me with documents. Legal documents. Mom, I've been talking to a financial planner. With your age and health, it makes sense to put your assets in a trust. With me as the trustee. That way, if anything happens to you, everything's protected. No probate. No delays. It's just smart planning. He had it all printed out. Highlighted. Ready for my signature. But I'm not a fool. I told him I'd think about it. That I wanted my own lawyer to review everything first. His face changed. Just for a second. Flash of anger. Frustration. Mom, don't you trust me? I'm your son. I'm trying to help you. I do trust you, David. But this is my life savings. I need to be careful. He left angry that day. And the Sunday visits stopped. For 3 weeks, nothing. No calls. No text. I told myself he was busy. That he'd come around. And then Linda called me with the news that changed everything. My son was telling people I was dead. After Linda's call, I sat in my living room for hours. Just processing. Why would he do this? What was his plan? And then it hit me. The trust documents. The constant requests for money. Vanessa's comments about remodeling my house. He wasn't waiting for me to die. He was trying to make it happen on paper. So I did what any mother would do when faced with betrayal from her own child. I got strategic. First, I called my lawyer, Tom Henderson. He'd handled Robert's estate and had been our family attorney for 20 years. Tom, I need to see you today. And I need you to keep this completely confidential. We met that evening. I told him everything. About the fake death certificate. About David's behavior. About my suspicions. Tom's face went pale. Margaret, if what you're saying is true, this is fraud. Identity fraud. Document forgery. This is serious criminal activity. I know, I said. That's why I need your help. I want to know exactly what he's trying to do. And I want to stop him. Tom made some calls. Within 2 days we had answers. And they were worse than I imagined. Using the fake death certificate, David had already begun the process of claiming my estate. He'd filed paperwork with my bank, trying to access my accounts as executor of my estate. He'd contacted my investment firm, claiming to be the sole beneficiary. He'd even started talking to real estate agents about listing my house. My house. The house Robert and I bought 42 years ago. Where we raised our son. Where we built our memories. Tom looked at me across his desk and said, Margaret, we have 2 options. We can confront him privately and try to resolve this within the family. Or we can involve law enforcement and let the legal system handle it. Thought about it. About all those Sunday lunches. About watching David grow up. About the little boy who used to curl up next to me on the couch and tell me I was the best mom in the world. And then I thought about him showing him my death certificate at a party. Laughing with his girlfriend. Planning to sell my home. Dealing my life. Tom, I said, I want to do both. He raised his eyebrows. First, I want to gather every piece of evidence we can. I want documentation of everything he's trying to do. Then, I want to confront him. Face to face. I want him to see me. Live. And I want him to know exactly what's coming. Tom smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew justice was about to be served. Let's get to work. For 2 weeks, Tom and I worked in secret. We contacted every institution David had approached. We documented every fraudulent claim. We worked with a detective from the fraud division of the police department. And we discovered something else. Vanessa had a record. 3 prior relationships with older men. All of whom had mysteriously loaned her large sums of money. All of whom had filed complaints after she disappeared. She wasn't just a gold digger. She was a professional. And my son had fallen right into her trap. Or maybe he'd gone willingly. Finally, everything was in place. It was time. Called David. First time in almost a month. David, it's Mom. I'd like to see you. Can you come by the house tomorrow? Around 2. There was a long pause. Yeah, Mom. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, sweetheart. I just want to talk. About your future. The next day, at exactly 2 o'clock, David's car pulled into my driveway. I watched from the window as he got out. Vanessa was with him. Course she was. I opened the door before he could knock. The look on his face was something I'll never forget. Pure. Absolute. Terror. Hi, David, I said calmly. Surprised to see me. His mouth opened. Closed. No words came out. Vanessa's face went white. Mom. What? What am I doing alive? I finished for him. Is that what you're trying to ask? What am I doing alive when you've been telling everyone I'm dead? Come inside. Both of you. We have a lot to discuss. They followed me into the living room like children walking to the principal's office. I sat in Robert's old chair. The one he used to read the paper in every morning. David and Vanessa sat on the couch. Neither of them could look at me. I know about the death certificate, David. I know you showed it at the country club. I know you've been filing claims with my bank, my investment accounts. I know you've been talking to real estate agents about selling this house. Mom, I can explain. No, I can't. There's no explanation that makes this okay. You faked my death. You tried to steal everything your father and I worked our entire lives to build. You betrayed me in the deepest way possible. Tears were running down his face now. Mom, please. Vanessa and I. We have debts. The condo. The wedding. I didn't know what else to do. I was going to pay it all back. I swear. You were going to pay it back. How, David? By stealing my identity. By committing fraud. I stood up and walked to my desk. Pulled out a folder. Thick with documents. Here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, Detective Richardson from the Fraud Division will be contacting you. You'll be charged with identity fraud, document forgery, and attempted financial theft. These are felony charges, David. All of your accounts have been frozen pending investigation. The bank has been notified. Your real estate license is under review. Vanessa stood up suddenly. I didn't know anything about this. This was all him. Sit down, Vanessa. Detective Richardson wants to talk to you too. Especially about your 3 previous relationships with older men who filed complaints against you. He sat. David, I loved you more than my own life. I would have given you anything if you just asked honestly. If you'd just been the man your father and I raised you to be. Mom, please. I've removed you from my will. Every asset will go to charity. You'll get nothing. Now get out of my house. Both of you. They left. David was sobbing. Vanessa was already on her phone, probably calling a lawyer. I closed the door behind them and locked it. And then, finally, I let myself cry. That was 8 months ago. David pleaded guilty. He received 2 years probation, community service, and a permanent record. His real estate license was revoked. Vanessa disappeared. Last I heard, she moved to Florida. David has tried to reach out. Letters, emails, begging for forgiveness. I haven't responded. Maybe someday I will. Maybe someday the anger will fade enough that I can see my son again. But not today. People ask me if I regret how I handled it. If I wish I'd just kept it private. Handled it within the family. And my answer is always the same. Well, because what David did wasn't just about money. It was about respect, about love, about the basic human decency you owe to the person who gave you life. When you fake someone's death to steal from them, you're not just committing fraud. You're committing murder. Of trust. Of relationship. Family. I think about Robert sometimes. About what he would have said. what he would have done. And I think he would have been proud of me. For standing up. For demanding justice. For refusing to be a victim. I'm 72 years old. I'm alive. I'm healthy. And I'm free. Free from a son who saw me as a bank account instead of a mother. Free from the weight of pretending everything was okay when it wasn't. Free to live the rest of my life on my own terms. And you know what? That freedom is worth more than any inheritance. If this story moved you, like and subscribe for more stories about truth, betrayal, and redemption. And remember, family isn't just about blood. It's about loyalty, respect, and love that doesn't come with conditions. Thank you for listening to my story.